Rosh Hashanah Daf Yud Gimel, how's everybody doing? Today we're going to be discussing 5 different types of fruits and vegetables, and they have 5 different shiurim when it comes to meiser. Number 1 is the d'oraisa. Midoraisa, you only chayev to be maser, trumas and meisers, on 3 types of food. Dagan, tirish, v'yitzar, grain, grapes, and olives. And the shear for that is mishiaviu shlish, when they grow a third. How do we know this? From the pasuk va'asas l'shalish. And the Gemara darshans, it's not l'shalish, l'shlish, it's a third. You'll tell me, wait a minute, that pasuk is an answer to a question. If Klal Yisrael asks the question, Ki soimru ma noichal, how can we not plant on the 7th year of Shemitah? What are we going to eat? And then the Torah says, don't worry about it. The 6th year is going to produce l'shalish for 3 years. Well, the answer is there's another pasuk that tells us the same thing, and therefore l'shalish is extra. It says, v'achaltem yashan, you'll eat from the old crop from the 6th year all the way into the 9th year. The Gemara tells us, when Chachamim say a shear, they know what they're talking about. For instance, if they say that a mikvah must be 40 sa, it means even if it's 1 ounce less than 40 sa, it's possible for a mikvah. And when they say a kabeitz is matama tumas oichlem for tuma, it means they knew that it's the size of a chicken egg. That's what you could swallow one shot. Anything less, even the size of a sesame seed, is not a kabeitz. And they say 3 tfachim by 3 tfachim is considered something that you sit on, and in the time if somebody has tuma like a zav and a zava, they knew what they're talking about. 1 hair breadth less than 3 tfachim, it's not it. To bring a carbon oimer, you need kitzirchem. It has to be your crop. In other words, it has to be that a third happened when it was owned by a Yisrael and not by a non-Jew. When Klal Yisrael went into Yisrael, we have to say that the crop, the grain, the barley grew from less than a shlish. It was less than a shlish in their rishos, and it grew really quickly because they only had 5 days. They came in the 10th, and they had to bring it 5 days later. Or they'll say that it went from 0 to full in 7 days. Why? Because Eretz Yisrael is known as Eretz Tzvi. It's a land that's light on its feet. Crops grow really quickly. Now, when it comes to the meiser midrabbanan, such as all trees, an apple tree, an orange tree, it goes by chanata. When the fruit blooms, when the flower falls off, and you could see the beginning of the fruit, that's when the fruit grew. That's the year that they grew in. Yerek, when it comes to vegetables, which are also only midrabbanan, it goes by when you harvest the basar lekita. When it comes to kitnias, beans, things that you eat, the seeds, according to like Gemara tells us rice and different types of beans. According to the Brisa, it goes by a new shear, hashrasha, when it takes root. And why is that? Because when it comes to these kitnias, they're not harvested together. You harvest a couple today, then tomorrow, a month later, and the problem is you might take meiser from last year's crop on this year's crop. But according to Rav Shimon Shizuri, you can even take 2 different crops, 2 different years, and combine them together and do a hafrasha. For instance, let's say you have 50 beans from last year, before Rosh Hashanah, and 50 beans from this year. And you have to take 10% from these 50, 10% from these 50. So what do? You put them all together in one bundle, you mix it up really well, and you take 10% from the combined. And what's going to happen is you're going to come pretty close to taking 10% from last year's and 10% from this year's, and therefore it's a good truma. Shmuel paskined like Rav Shimon Shizuri, yet he says not for the reason that you're able to combine, but rather he says the reason is that we go when it comes to meiser based on the gemar pri, when everything is finished, the beans are finished in one time. That's why we go on the beans based on their gemar. But when it comes to liquids like wine and oil, then Rav Shimon Shizuri would hold yesh bila. In other words, you can mix it and it will mix 100%. When it comes to salads, mathematically speaking, it's very possible you put this whole combination together, you won't get exactly the 10% that you want, and that's why he holds ein bila with salads. Have a wonderful day.